The Keto Diet. We've all heard about it. High amounts of fats, low amounts of carbs, all done to burn your own fat stores for massive amounts of weight loss.
Oh, shit!
First used as a treatment for epilepsy in the 1920s, the ketogenic diet, more commonly known as the Keto Diet, has exploded into one of the most popular weight loss diets the world has ever seen. Now, I know what you're thinking. Farak, Bubby, a diet from the 1920s? That's old and sucks balls. I don't think something from the 1920s is gonna do any good here, pal. Oh, I totally understand, but I do have a rebuttal. It doesn't matter what you think, because Farak has the knowledge to put you through college. Freshman 15? More like freshman getting lean. You never done the diet? Well, you better try it.
Just do it!
You'll have weight loss like a boss when the great one's through with you. So grab your notebook, grab your pork rinds, and get ready to learn what keto is all about. If you smell what Farak is cooking. Now, a lot of you may have heard about the keto diet, but have you ever stopped to wonder what the actual it is? Is it just a low-carb diet? No! Is it just a high-fat diet? No! The ketogenic diet is about retraining your body to burn fat as its primary fuel source by decreasing your carbs and increasing your fats. Traditionally, our bodies use carbs to produce the glucose that fuels it. That glucose is what ends up getting burned for fuel when you're exercising, out at work, hanging with friends, or when your heart is pounding trying to fight this stupid boss who just won't die already! But when reducing your carb intake, you are reducing your body's fuel source. So, in response to this loss, your liver produces something called ketones. Now, I hear what you're saying. Ketones?
What the hell is that?
Ketones, or ketone bodies, are something produced by the liver that turns both dietary and stored fat into glucose for fuel. This process of your liver creating ketones is something called ketosis. Whether you're exercising heavily, fasting for a long period of time, or on a low-carb diet like keto, you eventually burn through the glucose that's in your body. And once you run out of that glucose, your body starts to look for an alternative fuel source. So instead of pumping that regular fuel, we're gonna give it that Big Daddy diesel fuel, baby. We're gonna give it our fat stores. At this point, your liver will begin to produce these ketones, which break down both your stored and dietary fats, and will begin to burn them for fuel. So to recap the keto basics, greatly reduce your carbohydrate intake, increase your fat intake, and allow your body to produce ketones to burn your fat. Part 2, macros. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Gee willikers, Mr. Farrick. It's good and all, but how many fats and carbs should I have? Well, if you just shut your candy-ass mouth, little boy, I could tell you that the keto diet is built around the caloric ratios of the 3 macronutrients, more commonly known as macros. The 3 macros are carbs, proteins, and fats. You will be focusing on the percentages of these 3 things based on the total amount of calories you've consumed in a day. You can adjust these ratios later on as you come to understand more of what your body needs, but here is a more commonly used and recommended starting point for the ketogenic diet. Carbs. Carbs have 4 calories per gram and should make up 5% of your daily caloric intake. Protein. Protein also has 4 calories per gram and should make up 25% of your daily caloric intake. And finally, fats. Fats have 9 calories per gram and should take 70% of your daily caloric intake. Again, high fats. Keeping your carbs low is the most important thing to do on the keto diet. But keeping high amounts of fats is a very close second. Remember, the goal of this diet is to recalibrate your body to be able to run off of fats instead of carbs. Keeping carbs very low will force your body to find other sources of fuel and, well, since we're putting in such high amounts of fats, fat will be the body's next stop for fuel consumption. Part 3. Calculating macros and net carbs. On a ketogenic diet, or any diet for that matter, it's pretty important to track what foods you eat. Specifically, doing this for keto will help you to know exactly what nutrients and macronutrients you are putting in your body, as well as making it easier to plan your meals for the rest of the day. Every person and body type will have a different requirement for how many calories and grams of carbs they can or should have in a day. However, a good baseline to start with is consuming 2,000 to 2,500 calories in a day and consuming no more than 30 grams of net carbs in a day, which is about 120 calories. Don't worry, we'll talk about net carbs in a bit. When shopping for food items for your keto diet, you'll need to start getting used to checking labels. Yeah, I know it can be a bit of a hassle at first, but it becomes a habit soon after and will eventually become an impulse. When reading labels for the keto diet, the main things you'll be looking for are how much fat, protein, and carbs are in the item. But it's all pretty easy to find. So let's look at these Mission Carb Balance tortillas as an example. All right, let's look at the top. 3 fats? Okay. Look down at the bottom. 5 protein? Okay. Carbs in the center? Huh? 19? What the fuck? Well, that's just the total carbs.
Don't even trip, dog.
It's the net carbs that truly matter on the keto diet. Yeah, but how do we find the net carbs, you ask? Well, we'll just have to do a little math to find this out. When you're at the grocery store trying to figure out what the hell the net carbs are for this item, you're going to take the total amount of carbs and subtract the amount of fiber in the item. For example, 100 grams of avocado has 8.6 total grams of carbs in there. But this 100 grams of avocado also has 6.8 grams of fiber. So your net carb total would only be 1.8 net grams of carbs. That's pretty solid. But every once in a while, we all need a little sweetness in our lives. So let's add another figure to our equation.
I wanna do math with you. No! And if my number 2 is...
When reading the label on keto chocolate bars or other sweet keto treats, you'll often find something underneath the carb section called sugar alcohol. No, not that type of alcohol. Sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohol is a sweetener that converts to glucose far slower than regular-ass sugar. Whether it's found naturally in things like fruit and vegetables or manually processed, regular sugar can give you massive insulin spikes and therefore kick you out of ketosis. Yet, the majority of sugar alcohols can give you that satisfaction of having a nice, sweet treat without the insulin response. And it can keep you in ketosis. Now, there are a number of sugar alcohols out there that work well with keto, but the 4 best sugar alcohols that have the lowest number on the glycemic index are mannitol, erythritol, monk fruit, and stevia, particularly if it's in its pure liquid form. Whether a package specifically lists one of these 4 things on it, or it just lists sugar alcohol, you can deduct these sugar alcohols from the total carb count along with the fiber to get your net carbs. For example, this product has 18 total carbs per serving, but only 1 gram of fiber. Right now, this is sitting at 17 net grams of carbs. That's over half your daily amount. However, there are 15 grams of sugar alcohol, bringing the net carb amount down to 2 grams of net carbs. That's pretty nice, huh?
I said give me a hell yeah!
Now, does this mean that you can eat 15 servings of this and be okay on keto? Fucking no! Though many sugar alcohols are okay for you to have on keto without kicking you out of ketosis, many of these sweeteners still have some negative effects on the body, even the good ones. For example, when consuming erythritol, a lot of people tend to feel all bloated and gross. Other sugar alcohols that are higher on the glycemic index can even give you a little bit of diarrhea and a little extra gassy for your assy.
Did you just soil yourself? Maybe.
So do some research on the type of sweeteners and their side effects to find which one will work best for you. Summary. Start off by consuming 2,000 to 2,500 calories in a day and no more than 30 grams of net carbs. To figure out the net carbs of an item, take your total carbs, subtract any fiber, and subtract any sugar alcohol. Sugar alcohol should be consumed in moderation. Part 4. How to track-o your macros. I know we just did a whole bunch of math, but forget about it! Put away your graph paper, put away your protractor, and take out your phone. There are a number of excellent free apps out there to help you keep track of your calories and other nutrients. I've been using My Net Diary for years. I absolutely love it. It helps me to keep track of all my macros. It can show you the total carbs and will give you the net carbs of your dish. It's wonderful. However, a lot of other members from the keto community use the app Carb Manager. It's a great tool for beginners and can really give you a more personalized target of what your macros and calorie intake should be for your personal keto journey. Now, I do have one more suggestion before we end this video. Invest in a food scale. This is not an absolute necessity. You can have solid results by just guessing how much you had, and if you do decide to just guess, which is fine, I'd suggest rounding up the numbers to make sure that you don't go over your macros for the day. However, Using a food scale is the most accurate way to keep track of what you are actually putting in your body, and it will set you up for a more successful keto journey. Well, we've learned the basics of what the keto diet is all about, from how it works, to what macros are, to net carbs and beyond. But there's still plenty more to learn about the keto diet. Leave a comment if you have any questions. I freaking love talking about keto. And turn on the bell icon to be notified of your call to action as we go into what foods are best and which ones are a no-go for keto. If you smell what Farak is cooking.